All right, I look the way I look because that's just the way I look right now. So mind your business. But anywho, so I used to do OnlyFans back in the day. Oh, and I'm washing dishes because multitask. But back in the day, I used to do OnlyFans. And, you know, at first I started off doing feet pics. But then I said, you know what? I got a nice little body. And, you know, let me show the tatas and shake a little something, something. But then I started to feel like, not that it's beneath me, because y'all, it take a lot of work. So shout out to everybody who is doing that type of work. Like me, as someone who has done something, like I'm a type of person who I'm not going to talk about something unless I done it. Like if I haven't done it, I'm not going to talk about it because like I don't know what it's like. I don't got no skin in the game, and I don't know what your struggle is like, you know? It's just me, very non-judgmental. So anywho, it wasn't for me because one, I didn't have the type of time to dedicate into doing that, and then two, I felt like I have something else to offer the world. Like I felt like that was not what I was meant to offer to the world, so I stopped. But I wanted to talk about this piece of it because people be like, "Oh, well, what would your kids think? What your man gonna think? Da 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 da, whatever." Okay, number one, what my children are going to think if, a high if, because most of the time your kids don't want nothing to do with you anyway. But, and if my kids happen to find out about it, then it's a look at God. Look at what Jesus can do. Look how God can turn your life around. Look at how you can do this and still come out to be this or that. And not, again, not to knock anybody who is doing that type of work, not to say that you are in the wrong. I don't know what your relationship with God is like. I don't know what God has called you to do. Sometimes God calls us to do some things that may not make sense. You know, I'll say that. Sometimes God calls some people to do some things that may not make sense because he uses any and everybody. You know, he called Moses to use a stick to turn into a snake, and people were like, "Oh, divination, tarot cards, this, that, and the third. It's not a God." Well, God told Moses to do divination. What you think turning a stick into a snake is? If that's not sorcery, I don't know what is. But that's a whole nother topic. That's something else to get into. Stay focused. My point is my children, if they do happen to find out, then that was your mom. Yeah, your mom did it. That's right, I did it. And this is who I am today. That is who I used to be. That's what I used to do. That's what I thought I needed to do in order to get a certain somewhere. But I realized that was not my path in life. And sometimes you're going to go down paths that may not be what you are meant to do. That's what life is about. It's about learning. It's about lessons. There are no failures in life. There are just lessons. So that's for my children. As far as my man go, God's still working on me. But, you know, God made me a certain type of way. And so whoever God got for me, he done already spun the block a few different times, okay? My man is not a wallflower. My man is not super duper pure. You know, my man done seen some things. He done been through some things. So who it is that God has for me is for me. And I'm going to love them all, okay? And he just going to be like, yep, that's my wife. Yep, that's her with her fine self, okay? Because that's what my man going to think. So I don't care. I don't care at the end of the day what other people think about me, because it's not about what others think about me. People are going to have an opinion no matter what you do. Somebody can say I'm washing these dishes wrong. Everybody is going to have an opinion. So if you are always so caught up in what others think about you, hold on, baby girl. If you're so caught up in what others think about you, you miss who you truly, really are, because you're going to be afraid to be yourself. You're always going to be modifying or adapting to what you think is suitable for others to digest. I am what I am. I am how I am. And who is for me is for me. Who isn't is not. But that does not mean that I have to change anything about myself just because it might ruffle a few people's feathers. You know, that's not my business. What you think about me is none of my business. So I just wanted to share that piece because too often we are concerned about, oh, well, what your kids gonna think? Oh, what your man gonna think? Oh, what your family gonna think? Oh, your daddy must be so proud of you. It's like, child, I ain't worried about nobody other than what the man above think about me. And you know what he think about me? Do you want to know what he think about me? He thinks I am fearfully and wonderfully made. He sent his only begotten son to die on the cross for my sins. He knew my end before my beginning. Jesus knew I was nasty. Jesus knew I was throwing that thing. Jesus knew, Jesus knew I was out here in these streets. And he loved me anyway. He still died for me anyway. So ain't nothing anybody can say or do to me or try to expose me about that's going to make me look at myself or feel differently about myself, because I love me and all of my nasty thoughts and, all of that. So, yeah, that's that. So keep on pushing on with your cute self, okay? Be you. God is still working on you. I'm not saying any of this to glorify what I used to do or who I used to be. I am saying all of this to say that God can use anybody. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And if God could do it for me, he can do it for you. It is never too late to get right with God. It is never too late to turn your life around. It is never too late to pivot. It is never too late to become a new person. God says you are a new creation in him. So, let all things be new. Have a great day, you all.